call the Planning and Zoning meeting to order. Will everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mark Denny.
Here.
Alan Stork.
Here.
Jaden Bailey.
Here.
Marcus Major.
Here.
Will Smith.
Here.
Robert Owens.
Here.
Tom Dials.
Here.
Jeff Spink.
Here.
And myself, Steve Rosenthal, present. 9 members present. We have 1 vacancy at this time. Secretary's report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Tonight's agenda, we have 2 items that are on the agenda. However, we will only have one of those items before you, as you all know, is case number DEV 22067. That is the termination hearing for the special use permit for Flatland Excavating. As you all remember, you all created this special meeting in order to hear a new special use permit along with the termination if need be. However, due to a publication error, we will not be hearing the special use permit. The public hearing for the termination was opened and closed at the initial meeting. We have plenty of people here, as you can see, but I do want to remind you the public hearing has been opened and closed. You were under no obligation to reopen it. You also have the opportunity tonight, you can make a recommendation on the termination. You can table the termination until it can be heard alongside the special use permit. That is your call this evening. Given the original reason for having the 2 together, you may wish to deliberate whether or not you would want to table this so that both items could be heard together. The special use permit has been notified in the newspaper. Letters have been sent out to surrounding property owners for September 21st. With that, I don't have anything else unless you have any questions of me.
Okay. So today, the only thing is on the termination. So
Correct.
What are our choices? Yes, terminated, no terminated. Can we change conditions in the conditions that were already brought up?
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, good afternoon. I would suggest to you your options are as follows. You can proceed to deliberate on Resolution 2009, the resolution or consideration of rescission of Resolution 2019-10. I would caveat this: if you wish to reopen the public hearing, it would be my advice and counsel to you that you would have to republish notice that you are reopening the public hearing, because it's a public hearing and it needs to be provided, notice needs to be provided. That being stated, you can proceed to deliberate on that. You can reach a decision, yea or nay, or table it for further consideration, or you can table the matter now, as Bob indicated, until such time as the special use permit could be heard as well. That may be as early as September 21st. So that's really your options. You cannot hear the special use permit at this time because the publication did not occur within the time frame.
Okay. As
far as changing conditions of the special use permit, I would suggest to you the answer is no, because the special use permit is outlining Resolution 2019-10 as the matter that's before you. If you were to change the conditions or consider changing the conditions, it changes the complexion of what you're really deliberating about. So my suggestion to you is that you not undertake to rewrite the resolution. Consideration is really limited to: do you recommend the repeal of the special use permit through the repeal of the resolution, or do you recommend against the repeal of that resolution?
Okay. All right. Any questions of staff?
Yeah, I have a question. If we discuss and rule on the termination of their special use permit tonight, does that put them out of business as of tonight?
No. The purpose of your deliberations is to make a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners, much as you do with other matters.
So it still has to go to the commission?
Yes, it would have to go to the Commissioners.
why are we really discussing this then if we're going to be discussing a whole new application next month?
Very good point, Commissioner Stork, and I think that's the basis for the recommendation, perhaps of staff. This matter's been pending for quite some time. I think we're all ready for some resolution of it one way or the other. At the same time, this is an important matter for all parties involved. Moving with deliberate speed indicates, or I think it means that you deliberately act, not precipitously. So the thought that you would hear or consider or have before you a new proposed special use permit certainly could weigh in the decision of whether or not to revoke the existing special use permit. And consequently, the suggestion that you might want to consider tabling this to the 21st at such time as the new special use permit application could be weighed in as well.
Well, I hate to keep stalling this thing, but I think it doesn't make a lot of sense to vote on one thing tonight and then next month we're voting on something entirely different. It's the same effect. We have to resolve both these issues.
I think your observation is correct.
So on the 21st, which will come first?
I would suggest that the consideration of the new special use permit come first because I think that plays into, or could play into your consideration of whether or not to revoke the existing special use permit. If you feel the new special use permit was advantageous or met the golden criteria, to adopt that, you would then need to go into session and recommend a revocation of Resolution 2019-10, because you can't have two resolutions on special use permit in existence at the same time. Well, you should not.
Are we going to rezone this property to light industrial? That's my first question.
That would, Commissioner Owens, that would require an application by the property owner to rezone the property. And rezoning would do away with the need for a special use permit.
Exactly, it would.
Okay. Any other questions of staff?
I do have one more. If we do vote to shut this SUP down tonight, has it been brought forward to you on alternate placement for a landfill within the Leavenworth County area? Yes, I know, yes.
No.
Okay. Do we have any land that is zoned light industrial for a landfill in the Leavenworth County area?
We have areas zoned light industrial, but not specifically for a C&D landfill or a municipal waste landfill.
So we have no other place in all of Leavenworth County to dump any construction debris.
I'm not aware of any, Commissioner.
Okay.
I don't know any either.
The transfer station, Leavenworth County Transfer Station.
Yeah, that'd be the only spot.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
But then they just haul it out of there.
Yeah, then we just haul it to Douglas County. Yes.
Well, the question was, is there a place?
Yeah.
Yes.
There is.
Yes.
Commissioner Denny, if I could, yes, the county's been operating a transfer station for several decades now, unsuccessfully so. C&D landfill is really not amenable to the transfer station, though, because, quite frankly, the density of how you load it into the trailer, it's not economical, quite frankly, to fill a trailer full of C&D landfill because per cubic yard it weighs far less than municipal garbage.
Right.
So I think, Commissioner Owens' question is on point because the position of the folks who live out in the area of this landfill is pretty clear. Matter of fact, I'd say it's abundantly clear that they don't want it around. On the other hand, we've got a several millions of dollar investment that just goes away. What's the liability of the county if that happens?
I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Well, obviously, if we recommend to shut down the SUP tonight, so it doesn't take effect until the Board of County Commissioners acts on it, then it's shut down. Then nobody's going to come back and appeal. This is going to go to court.
Commissioner, actually, again, if you were to vote yes or no on this matter, it's a recommendation that would be
I understand
forwarded to
that.
the Board of County Commissioners. As far as liability in the future, I prefer not to speculate on that, Commissioner.
Okay. The thought's in the back of my mind. But I'm not a lawyer.
Well, and the fact is, we need this. We need a construction waste place in Leavenworth County. And I'm going to speak frankly. I just don't think we need it where it is. Prior to this, Mr. Larkin dumped 4 or 5 times there a week. You know, I mean, this has become an overwhelming burden and problem that we are now forced to address. And I don't think anybody's happy about this, but we're going to have to make a choice here.
Robert, why don't we wait till we get into actually
Okay.
what we're going to do, if we're going to do something tonight or not. But
Well, I
before
think we need to
discuss
do. I think we need to vote tonight. We've put it off. We put it off. I think we need to put it to a vote, and then if we got a new SUP, let's hear the new SUP.
Okay, well, we'll get there, and we can bring that all up in just a little bit.
Okay.
Okay? Any other things of staff? Okay, are there any decorations? I personally had 3 emails. I think it was only 3 emails from different people on this. I don't know if the rest of you had or not.
I had 2.
You had 2?
I had 1.
I had all of them.
I had 9.
You had 9? Okay, I had 3. So just want to declare that I had those. I responded by thanking them for the input, and always consider everything. So,
Same here.
do I have a motion on the agenda?
I would make a motion that we table this.
No, we're on the agenda now.
I'm sorry. I so move.
You move that we approve the agenda,
Second.
and Tom seconded. I have a motion on the floor to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Hearing a roll call vote. Mark Denny.
Yes.
Alan Stork.
Yes.
Jaden Bailey.
Yes.
Marcus Major.
Yes.
Wolf Smith.
Yes.
Robert Owens.
Yes.
Jeff Spink.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Okay. Start off with case number DV 067, termination of special use permit, flatland excavating. Consideration of termination of a special use permit, flatland excavating LLC on the following described property, tract of land in the northwest quarter of Section 20, Township 98 South, Range 21 East of the 6 p.m. in Leavenworth County, Kansas, also known as 31358 227th Street. We already had, well, you didn't have your staff report. We had just your report. Do you have anything to add?
I do not, Commissioner. As I stated in my report, the applicants have submitted a special use permit application. That application has been vetted by staff, by our consulting engineers. The application is ready to bring forward September 21st. That's really the only update to this. I'll answer again any questions that you may have. Or I can go through the report it's been a couple of months. If we need a refresher, I can go through the report. I will leave that up to you all.
Okay. Well, I know several of us have been out to the landfill. How many have been out there to it? 2, 3, 4. Most of them. Almost all of us. I kind of agree with Robert. I think it's been going on long enough. I think we should make a decision tonight on the termination, and whatever happens afterwards happens. But what's your guys' thoughts on that? Do we want to hear it or we want to table it?
I agree with Robert. I think we've been going on long enough. We ought to decide. And tabling doesn't decide anything.
Well, really, voting, if we turned it down, let's just say, it's not going to decide anything either.
No.
It's not going to do any good. The only thing it's going to do is if we vote yes, but the applicant they already have a new one ready to go. So even if we said vote no to not dissolve this, they're ready to go with the new. So I don't.
Well,
our hands are
they
tied.
can go with a new one or not go with a new one.
Does the new SUP automatically terminate the old one?
Commissioner Schmidt, I think by operation of law it would, but at the same time, it would still clean it up by repealing Resolution 2019-10.
I'm sorry, would you say that again?
If you were to consider, I'll call it the new SUP, and approve it, and it subsequently was approved by the Board of County Commissioners, I think it would supersede the special use permit issued through Resolution 2019-10. We would still go ahead and repeal Resolution 2019-10.
Don't get me wrong, Robert, I agree with you, and it was my motion last meeting, to get this decided tonight.
Yes, it was.
Just so happens.
We got outvoted.
Well, no, I mean, it was a glitch with the notification deal.
Yeah.
Those things happen, but just in my opinion, it's not going to, voting on this, to me, is not going to do anything.
We're not going to have a resolution.
Other than clear one item off the next agenda.
Well, and you're exactly right. It clears them.
Well, yeah, that
Well-
is, it would document our stance to the county commissioners, which is what,
That's what it would do.
it
and
would document our stance to the county commissioners. The 21 September is still a new special use permit. It'll still be open. It's still going to be here. But this one, what we're recommending, whether we say yay or nay tonight, would at least put in record our stance on where we are with the current one.
Right.
When would that go to the commission, the county commission?
This,
If we voted
the
one way or the
earliest
other?
it could be heard by the Board of County Commissioners would be September 21st, which is consequently the date of the special use permit.
And then the next one would be when? If you waited till then, when would be that next notification be right? By middle October or later?
12 or 13.
Sorry, I'm not. Yeah, October 12th, yeah.
October 12th. Also, by approving, if we say yes to this one, then they have to abide by these requirements. And I'm sure the other one's going to have other requirements, or they're going to be asking for other things that.
Right. That was my point. They don't want this.
No, but do we want it?
That's what we got to do. I'm recommending that we probably we do what Robert recommended, which is we need to say one way or another. That's my stance. We need to at least propose to the county commissioners what we feel on the current one, regardless. It's not going to do anything. All it's going to do is document where we stand. That's really it, because 21 September is a special use permit. And that's what they're coming into here. So they're going to continue operating as operating, and everything's going to be fine. All it's going to do is just document our stance. And I recommend we document our stance.
And then turn around and do it again next one.
That's right.
Right. So we'll be back here the 21st of next month to hear the next SUP. Is that correct?
That is, yes. That's
So
the plan.
on the same day, the county commissioners will hear the old SUP on how we voted, and then we hear the new SUP that night. Is that correct?
So the earliest the Board of County Commissioners would take this up is September 21st.
Okay.
They could.
The same day we're going to vote on the next SUP.
Correct,
Okay.
unless for some reason the board did not want to hear it on the 21st. They wanted to hear it on the 28th. But the earliest it would be heard is the 21st.
Okay.
Well, if we want to table it, we can table it. If we want to go or really discuss it and see if we want to hear it tonight, I think we need to have some input of what we all believe when we went out there, what we saw, what we thought. But I guess if somebody wants to make a motion on tabling it, we can go there, and if it gets voted down, we can continue and make a decision one way or the other, or if it's voted to table it, it's tabled. How does that sound to everybody?
Well, those are our three choices.
Well, our first choice is to table it or not. If we want to table it, we get a motion and a second to table it, then it's done. If we get a motion and a second to table it and it fails, then we discuss it. Is that correct? Is that going to be, would that be something we can do?
You have three options before you to recommend approval, or to recommend revocation of the resolution, to recommend denial of, or to recommend, the continuation of the existing special use permit, or to table the matter. So yes, you have three options before you, Commissioners.
Okay. Well, I guess I want to see is how many people want to table it and how many people want to hear it tonight.
I'll make a motion that we table it until next meeting.
Okay. Alan made a motion to table. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mark, Denny seconded. Motion on the floor to table. And if this fails, then we'll go back and talk about one of the other two options.
Correct. You're open for another motion.
Okay. Have a motion on the floor to table DEV 22-067, terminate the special use permit for flatland excavating. Is there any further discussion? Have a roll call vote to table. Mark Denny.
Yes.
Alan Stork.
Yes.
Jaden Bailey.
No.
Marcus Major.
No.
Will Smith.
No.
Robert Owens.
No.
Tom Dials.
No.
Jeff Spink.
No.
Okay, motion fails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 to 2. Okay. Now I think we need to discuss what we want to do on the rest of it. The ones that were out there. And what's your impression that, this is a serious decision to terminate a special use permit. I'll go ahead and go first. I did go out and visit it. I went out with Crystal and Amy, and to be honest with you, it looked like a landfill. I didn't see anything, didn't smell any odors. There was some little places where there was some smoke, where they definitely showed it, pointed out to us that there was still some from the fire they had, but it was running fine. My impression is that landfill's been there a long time. They took it over, they made mistakes. I think they know of the mistakes they made now. I think they are cost them a whole lot of money to find out about the mistakes they made there. And I think if they can continue running it the way they was that day, I don't see any problem with it. Three things: they did make mistakes. They learned from their mistakes, I believe, and doing it. They know now that people are watching what they're doing. The state is watching, the county is watching, and the neighbors are watching. And they also know that we can end up right here again and terminate that special use permit if they don't behave. It's a landfill. It's going to be a landfill. I don't see anything else with that property at this time except for a landfill. It's just a matter, I think, of who's running the landfill. And let's hope they learn by their mistakes and are running it properly now. That's my opinion on it. Who else? Who wants to go next?
I will. I visited by myself. The owner's son took me around, showed me the property. I'm very much in agreement with you. We went up and it's a landfill. Is there any odors? Yeah. It's kind of a musty. It was a rainy day, kind of a musty. There's puddles on the ground. You can smell of diesel fuel and gasoline, and it's operating. It's an operating landfill. I've driven by there probably 3 times since then in that area, and I never detected any garbage odors at all. I feel the same way. I think that they had a learning process, and sometimes that is hard and expensive. But I think they're operating it well and doing a good job. The history of this goes back to the county owning it. The county started that dump. And they owned it, and they sold it, you know, and just because now the new owners are enlarging it, getting bigger and operating it as a going business, I don't think that's any reason at all to revoke a special use permit. You know, it's just, that's where I'm at.
Next.
I didn't coordinate because I drive out there all the time. I have a huge lease out there on a farm. I know several of the people, they know me. And I couldn't tell what was going in and coming out because I didn't want to coordinate. I just wanted to see for myself the number of trucks that are coming by. So I sat out there and the number of trucks. And there wasn't a number of trucks that exceeded by the hour. But the trucks are all covered. Now, flash forward, this was a couple of months ago that I did this. Flash forward, just this weekend alone, horrendous amount of smell, which is far exceeds that of construction material. So there is a lot of waste out there that's not construction material. Because construction material does not put off that. And I read the report. It does not put off all of that. I do agree that we got to have somewhere. Totally. I mean, that was one of my comments the very first night I came, and that was my first night was for this. There needs to be somewhere, but I'm not sure where it came in to start accepting anything and everything and why that ever happened. But that amount of personalized garbage that's in there and why it's in there and how it's in there, it's in there. So the plan is, what do you do? What do you do about it?
It doesn't really agree with what the state of Kansas is saying, or EPA
Right.
is saying. They
I
both
read-
give them a clean bill of health. They say they're operating within all the guidelines. They've done tests, they've dug holes. They haven't found garbage in there. I don't know what the smell is.
Well, I think they haven't
just-
found enough that exceeds the percentage and the scores and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what I read.
Here's the problem with that too, Alan, is that I visited the site, but I was out there 1 hour on the site. And when KDHE or the state comes out, they're out there for specific times. And when I was there, I didn't smell anything either. But I was there for 1 hour on one day.
Yeah, well,
I don't live there.
Yeah, I agree.
You live there, it's a totally different thing. So I think maybe that, to your point, is the state, maybe they're out there on the times that it so happens that all is good.
That's how I took
they
that
did
report.
testing though, didn't they?
They
They
took
did
soil
testing,
sample.
they did soil samples and samples, didn't they?
Correct. They had an independent third-party laboratory do soils testing. We sent that report off to Olson Engineering, to their environmental department, and Olson felt that the standard of care was appropriate for the type of operation out there. So they didn't say we concur necessarily with Blackstone. They said that the report, the soil samples, the studies were done in what appears to be an appropriate manner.
Didn't you went out?
I've been in the area on my own, not any coordinated or anything. I feel the same way, where unless an inordinate amount of time is spent there, it's hard to develop the context of other people giving input who are out there regularly. I also feel like it's very difficult to have a constant monitoring system. And at some point in time, you do have to put faith in people learning from past mistakes and being able to correct those moving forward. But it is tough that it is in the middle of something zoned rural residential. And I know it's been that way for a very long time, but those type of issues come up quite a bit, and that things that we talk about wanting to avoid, this would be one of those.
Well, but nobody wants to live next to a
Right.
landfill, and
Right.
but unfortunately, we need landfills. So, Jeff, you were out.
I went out with Mark, and I was there for the 1 hour, and everything seemed fine, but I live just a couple of miles from there. I drive through there pretty frequently, During the day, I can smell like a smoldering fire. It's basically where Turner Road hits 192, that spot every time I go through there. If you drive through early in the morning or later at night, there is a definite smell in the air. And I do see quite a few trucks driving up the highway and on 192. So, and they say they clean up, and I have seen them, the Flatlander truck on the side of K7 picking up trash. So they do keep things clean on their part. But like I said, we were there for the 1 hour. Everything was running smooth. So, but I don't think 192 should have that much. They do get farm vehicles, but I don't think they need that much truck traffic on that part of the highway. So, but like, there's nowhere else to put it.
Yeah. Tom?
Yeah, I was out there March 10th of June, an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. Pretty short time to make an evaluation. I've seen quite a few emails and letters. I can't believe all those people would make up a common story. So I'll go with what I've heard from friends of mine that live out off of Turner Road, places like that, that there's something that goes on there. But I did not see anything happening during the period that I was there that I thought indicated that they were in egregious violation of the existing SUP. So, you know, what, as I mentioned earlier to council, you know, what's the exit strategy? Is there something that can be done? Because obviously we're not capable of doing that, but the county commissioners certainly are. And we need to figure out what we're going to do.
They're getting paid to make that decision.
That's right. I'm looking to triple my pay tonight. Yeah. Still zero, but I'm going to triple it anyway.
Okay, Robert.
Well, here's the problem I have. I'm a contractor, licensed by the state, by the federal government. I do hazmat construction, oil cleanup, PVCs, whatever, mold, asbestos. I just finished a job, and we threw everything into a dumpster. It was bagged with a local company, and I said, well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And they said, I'll be back in 45 minutes. I'm just going to run it out to Easton. This is what the driver told me. Now, I got videos. I mean, I'll be more than happy to share the information after the fact. But here we just filled a dumpster with hazardous material, and the driver straight said, I'll be back in 40 minutes. I'm taking it to the Easton landfill. There's the problem I have. How are we monitoring what's going into this landfill? We got 20, 30 trucks a day coming across the Centennial Bridge into Leavenworth County from Missouri, where they're demolishing these buildings built in 1900s. Are we watching for the PCBs, the asbestos, even the mold? I mean, there's the problem. I've been out around the landfill more times than I can count. I've been up to the daycare at 8:30 in the morning and smelled the stench so bad that you needed a mask. And when I ask them, I'm like, is it like this every day? Well, every day that we got to do, and every morning and every night. And that's the response I got. I mean, I haven't talked to one person that lives in District 1 that says, hey man, this landfill's a great idea. I think we need to have a landfill here. Now, I've talked to 30 people from Basehor and Tonganoxie that says, hey man, that's a great landfill. We need to keep that. I'm more than happy to move that landfill to Basehor or Tonganoxie. I mean, them people think it's okay, then let's find a place out there for it. Or we need to rezone it. I'm all for rezoning it to light industry, dump, whatever. We take that to a vote. I just do not think that we need trash, numerous debris. It's not a lined landfill. It's not like taking your paint and your oils and your crap to Death and Ball, where they have a lining under there. So what do we know about the ground content 10, 15 years from now? We don't. What do we know about what's burning the air quality? Have we done an air quality? Did they do an air quality test? Did they do a mold or asbestos test and tell me how many molecules or mold or asbestos are in the air at any given time? Because this job I finished had 1.9 million molecules of mold in it. And all that moldy sheetrock and all that moldy baseboard, that went right in that dumpster in a bag and chucked right on out to their landfill. And I know they didn't crawl in that dumpster and look at what was being dumped. This company probably dumps 4 or 5 loads there every day. How are we going to keep them in check on construction debris, rock, concrete, the same thing that was dumped there before, and not trash, not hazardous material? The state even said, hey, we don't have the manpower to even watch this dump. We don't have anybody that can come out here and monitor it. You guys do that. This is what they told the Board of County Commissioners. Does the county have an extra $80,000 a year that we're going to throw out to have somebody sit out there and monitor this dump? Of course not. We're going to cut public funding on every... We're in a bad state as it is on the tax problem in the county. I could go on for another hour, but I'm done.
Let's not. Wolf.
I mean, I personally haven't been by there. I do live close to Easton.
Yes.
And when I do go into town, I personally haven't smelled anything.
You haven't?
But I mean, I've read all the reports that we got on the email, and from all the tests that were done, seemed like everything was copacetic. But I can understand on a rainy day or damp day, you're probably going to have some aroma.
Sure.
But rezoning it by itself is not going to stop it.
No. Zoning won't make
The
a
dump will
difference.
still be there. They just won't have to worry about it.
Right.
SUV.
And again, it's still going to remain that's what it is. I mean, it's going to be a landfill.
Yeah.
If it's not them, it's going to be somebody else.
Yeah.
It's not like it's going to go away if they don't do it, because it has to be completed. All right. I'll entertain a motion.
Again, so if we continue this SUP,
They have to abide by the old regulations.
but then at the 21st, if we approve the new one,
If you approve it. If you don't approve it, they still have to go by the old one. And the old one, I think, is probably going to be more stiffer than the new one. I'm thinking maybe. The hours might be changed a little bit. The number of trucks, I think they're proposing to go up.
well, I make a motion we not terminate.
To not terminate?
Not terminate.
Okay,
I'll second that.
Okay, Alan. A motion on the floor and a second to not terminate, I gotta get back to my page, the special use permit for flat land excavating. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote. Mark Denny.
No.
And
What's up? Well, I think it's clear to me and everybody hopefully involved that the current SUP does not fit and meet what they're doing. They've got a new SUP locked and loaded, ready to go. So I think we need to hear that.
Well, you will.
Right.
Yeah, you will hear it.
Right.
And that will supersede
So,
this one
correct.
if
So,
it's approved.
To me, it's
Okay.
my reason.
All right, well, that's good. Ellen, Stork?
I want to make sure I understand how we're voting here.
We're
I'm voting
voting-
to not terminate.
Not terminate the SUP.
I voted to terminate, yes.
Yes.
Yes, correct.
I'm voting yes, we do not terminate.
Do not terminate. Okay. Jaden Bailey,
No.
you are voting to terminate it or not,
Correct.
just not to terminate it? Okay. Marcus Major,
No,
not to terminate. Okay. Will Smith.
wait. We're voting
You're
to
working
terminate.
to terminate it.
Yeah, you're saying to not-
No
no.
means you want to terminate. it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wolf Smith.
Yes.
Robert Owens.
No.
No. Okay. Same reasoning.
Same reasoning.
Tom Dials.
No.
No. Jeff Spink.
No.
Okay. Motion to terminate fails. One, two.
Motion to not terminate.
Yeah, to not.
Not terminate.
Not
Yeah.
terminate
Fails
fails.
to not terminate fails. So do we need a motion to terminate then?
Commissioner, it might clarify if the motion were to recommend termination or not recommend termination.
Okay.
And I just- you just had a motion that the effect was to not recommend termination.
Right.
Okay. So the motion is to not terminate.
That was
That was
Okay,
That
so
was
if
the
you vote-
previous.
New
It-
motion.
It just failed.
So you want a new motion or we need a new motion?
I think that would clarify.
We need a new motion.
I'll give a new motion to terminate Resolution 2019-10.
There you go.
Opens made a motion to
Terminate.
Sorry, sir.
terminate. I'll
To
make sure I got
terminate.
it right. Okay. To terminate, and is there a second?
Second.
Commissioners, again, I hate to keep interjecting, but motion would be to recommend termination.
Recommend termination of Resolution 2019-10.
Okay. All right. We have a motion on the floor and a second to terminate
Recommend terminate.
special use permit for flatland excavating.
Recommend termination.
Recommend termination. That's what that's only what we do is recommend. So we're recommending termination. So a yes vote would be to terminate it. A no vote would mean not to terminate it. Okay. Any further discussion? Mark Denny.
Yes.
Ellen Stork.
No.
Okay. And the reason you think? Well,
It's the opposite of why I voted yes.
Okay. Jaden Bailey.
Yes.
Marcus Major.
Yes.
Will Smith.
I'll change to yes.
Okay. And Robert Owens.
Yes.
Tom Dials.
Yes.
Jeff Spink.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 to 1. Okay. That's all?
That's all.
All? We're done.